Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at small details, references, and subtle touches from the first two Quiet Place movies. Number 10. A nod to Jaws. Jaws was one of several films that influenced John Krasinski while conceiving A Quiet Place.
What happened?
A bomb, I think.
There are some evident parallels with both centering on small towns plagued by a largely unseen threat. Krasinski was notably inspired by Police Chief Martin Brody, who he described as a character scared to be a cop in New York, so he ran away from his fears to an island. The one thing he never wanted was a scary situation, and now it's surrounding him. A Quiet Place Part 2 pays homage to Brody during its opening flashback. Picking up snacks for his family, Lee passes several local businesses, including a restaurant called Brody's Pizzeria. If you missed this, then we guess the pizzeria is gonna need a bigger sign.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Number 9. Why the Abbotts had fireworks. To distract the aliens while Evelyn gives birth, the Abbotts set off a fireworks display. It's a clever solution, but you might be wondering why they had fireworks to begin with. Outside of sparklers, they're not exactly easy to come by year-round. The answer resides on the Abbotts' calendar. Most of the first film takes place on October 3rd, day 473 of the invasion. That means the invasion would have commenced in mid-June, only a couple of weeks before the 4th of July.
Think I'll Walker's farm.
Chances are that the Abbotts stocked up on fireworks for the holiday. Either that or somebody else in town had fireworks, which the Abbotts came across while searching for supply. In any case, it's a good thing this all started during the summer.
It's okay. It's okay. You're safe. They can't hear us.
Number 8. Real family photos. It's no secret that John Krasinski and Emily Blunt are married, bringing another layer of authenticity to Lee and Evelyn's relationship. While Krasinski didn't cast either of their daughters, he kept them close to the Abbott household. And by that, we don't mean he regularly brought them to the set. Krasinski adorned the farmhouse with actual photos of himself, Blunt, and their kids. The audience may have difficulty spotting these photos, but they were in plain sight for Krasinski and Blunt to look at. Blunt was initially hesitant to star in the film as it delved into her fear of not being able to protect her children. With photos of her daughters nearby, Blunt never lost sight of what Evelyn is fighting for. Number 7. From one alien movie to another. In space, no one can hear you scream. In A Quiet Place, there are plenty of people who can hear you scream, but that may mean certain death. Even so, you can definitely see the impact that Ridley Scott's Alien had on Krasinski. In addition to centering on lethal aliens, both films take place in confined areas, sending off claustrophobic vibes throughout. Krasinski paid direct tribute to Alien in A Quiet Place Part 2, as the characters try to find the radio station where Beyond the Sea is being broadcast. They determine that the station is on a street called Nostromo. The street shares the same name as the space tug where Ellen Ripley and her crew got an unwanted visitor. Number 6. An unspoken last name. As popular as this franchise is, we bet you can stump the average viewer by asking what the central family surname is. Any true fan can tell you that it's Abbott. Be honest though, you probably didn't realize this until the credits rolled or you looked it up online. The name Abbott is never said out loud in either film. Although it's not heard, the name does pop up.
We're all right. We're all right.
As Reagan is leaving her family's property in the first movie, she passes by their mailbox. Two things stand out about this background detail. 1, the family hasn't gotten mail in a while, and for good reason. 2, Abbott is written across the mailbox. For many, it's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but eagle-eyed viewers got the message.
Do you blame them for what happened?
Number 5, the aliens don't eat their prey. Here's another trivia question that'll test how well you know this franchise. When the aliens attack people, do they eat them? It's hard to say at first glance, seeing how many of the deaths go by in a flash with the aftermath rarely shown. Consulting the Abbotts whiteboard, though, you'll notice why don't they eat their kill listed under questions. This confirms that the aliens aren't hunting for sustenance. They're reacting to the noises they hear as a defense mechanism. If it makes a sound, it's a threat. Once that threat is silenced, the aliens have no use for the leftovers. As for whether or not the aliens need to eat, that's a question not even the die-hard fans have a definitive answer to, yet. Number 4, Echoes of the Office. Lee Abbott might be Krasinski's most famous film role, but on the small screen he's best known as Jim Halpert. While Krasinski left Dunder Mifflin behind in A Quiet Place, he references his sitcom roots a couple of times. In the first film, Lee and Evelyn share an intimate moment listening to Harvest Moon by Neil Young. It's reminiscent of a scene from The Office when Jim and Pam share headphones in the parking lot. That's not the only connection between Lee and Jim. In A Quiet Place Part 2, Reagan points to an island on a map. Just off to the left is Stamford, Connecticut, where Jim was transferred to in Season 3.
Why did I transfer to Stanford? I think that's pretty obvious. I got promoted.
We wonder how long Michael Scott would have survived in this franchise.
No! God, please, no! No!
Number 3, more than one use for the red lights. Whether it's a traffic light or an alarm going off, we all associate the color red with danger. When Evelyn goes into labor, she flips the switch, letting the family know it's time. One might assume that's the only purpose the red lights hanging around the Abbott farm serve. They aren't merely a warning sign, however. When the lights are turned on, they set off a high-pitched sound that a person might not notice, but a noise-sensitive alien will. Although this is inclined to attract the aliens to the red lights, it will also help to keep them outside of the Abbott house. For an enemy that can hear all yet see nothing, it doesn't hurt to keep the Christmas lights up. Number 2, clever ways of keeping quiet. Assuming noise-sensitive aliens ever do invade, A Quiet Place is full of survival tips. None of them are spelled out, however. They're all demonstrated visually. Aside from supplying exposition, the newspapers plastered on the walls help to reduce sound. Instead of a washer and dryer, Evelyn uses a clothesline for laundry. Sand trails can help silence your steps, especially when walking barefoot. During supper time, green leaves and your hands are silent substitutes for plates and silverware. Feel free to entertain the family with board games, just remember to replace the Monopoly pieces with soft items and keep the dice on the carpet. Don't even bother with doors, although if you need something to keep the aliens out, a mattress will do. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, no noisy foods allowed. The original film opens with the Abbotts searching a general store for supplies. This clearly isn't their first trip, as most of the shelves have been picked clean. Several shelves are still full, although you can see why the Abbotts haven't touched them. They're lined with chips and other snacks that you wouldn't want to munch on while trying to keep a low profile. Even if you lived long enough to open the bag, an alien would strike before you had a chance to take a bite. As such, the Abbotts lived on cooked vegetables and preserved fruit rather than Doritos. At least the apocalypse is good for dieting. It's one of the many small pieces of world building that manage to speak volumes. Are there any hidden details we missed? Speak up in the comments. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.